Today I'm going to read you Mrs. Rainbow by Neil Griffiths. I'm going to read it quite quickly because it's quite a long book. This is the house where Mrs. Rainbow lives. Just wait till you see what it's like inside. She has painted the kitchen bright green, the conservatory warm orange, and the sitting room soothing shades of yellow. Upstairs, the bathroom is ocean blue, the study a welcoming red, and the guest room a restful violet. Mrs. Rainbow's own bedroom, however, is decorated in one of her favourite colours, indigo. And there you will find every shade of purple imaginable. Mrs. Rainbow is never happier than when relaxing in her garden. Here she is now sitting in front of her favourite spot, enjoying a glass of cool lemonade. She loves her garden all times of the year, with the reds and golds and browns of autumn, the silvers and whites of winter, and the yellows and purples and green of spring. But summer is Mrs. Rainbow's favourite season, and today her garden looks at its best. However, Mrs. Rainbow can't relax for too long today, as the village school is holding a car boot sale, and she's very keen to get there early to pick up some bargains. She is the first to arrive and can hardly wait to get started. Nothing excites Mrs. Rainbow more than the thought of finding something unexpected to add to her colourful home. After an hour's hunting, she emerges smiling from the school playground, clutching a burgundy patchwork cushion for the study, a bright orange candle for the conservatory, and a purple mug for her nighttime hot chocolate drink, and a turquoise soap dish. She will have to decide later whether this will be for the bathroom or the kitchen. On her way home, the sky begins to cloud over and a light drizzle begins to fall. By the time she reaches the house, it has turned into a very grey day indeed. Mrs. Rainbow is quite glad to get inside. On days like this, Mrs. Rainbow usually keeps busy working on her latest painting or putting the finishing touches to a tapestry. That's when you sew with needle and thread and you make a picture. Sometimes she just sits and watches her tropical fish, dazzled by their stunning colours. Today is different. Mrs. Rainbow has hardly got her coat off before she rushes upstairs to try out her new hair colour that she has bought from the chemist. What colour are they going to be? The bottle says Bermuda Blonde, but as she emerges from the wash basin, blonde it is certainly not. It is more like peacock green. Perfect, she says, and she admires herself in the bathroom mirror. She has barely finished drying her hair when there is a loud knock at the door. The front door. She is greeted by three somewhat startled members of the District Council Planning Department, shocked perhaps by the colour of Mrs. Rainbow's hair or by her matching outfit. Good afternoon, madam, stutters a stout gentleman wearing a black pinstripe suit and a bowler hat. He explains that they are from the planning department and hands a letter to Mrs. Rainbow to read. To the occupant of Rainbow Cottage, at our recent monthly planning meeting, it was decided that your house, Rainbow Cottage, is not in keeping with the rest of the village. In other words, it doesn't really look like the rest of the houses in the street. It was agreed that the cottage is far too colourful and must be immediately painted grey to match all the other buildings. Signed, the District Council Planning Committee. Well, Mrs. Rainbow tries to protest, as she loves her little cottage and thought everybody else did, but the councillors will not change their decision and say they are sorry, but rules are rules, and the painters will start work in the morning. As they leave, Mrs. Rainbow looks sadly at the houses in the village beyond. There they all are, the grey houses. There's her colourful house. Before removing her house sign and gently closing the door behind. It said Rainbow Cottage, but it won't be a Rainbow Cottage anymore. As promised, the painters arrived promptly the following morning and quickly set to work. They too felt very sad, but are only following the council's orders. Mrs. Rainbow is nowhere to be seen, and the curtains to the cottage are strangely drawn, closed. News quickly spread to the other villagers through Mrs. Braithwaite, who almost rides her bicycle off the road and through the hedge when she catches sight of the newly painted cottage. Soon a large inquisitive crowd of people arrive outside. They could hardly believe their eyes. It is the Reverend Fowler who finally picks up courage enough to knock on the door and ask how Mrs. Rainbow is feeling. After some time she appears looking pale and grey. She thanks the villagers for their concern and says that she is feeling a little bit off colour today, before returning into the darkness of her cottage. Well,